Picture two strangers seated across from each other at a resort dining table. Physically, they are separated by 3 feet of empty air and a spread of dinner plates. Over the next hour, that gap closes. They share a meal, they lock eyes. A casual comment triggers mutual laughter. In social psychology, we track this as conversational momentum. Every shared joke and reciprocal nod acts as a structural building block, filling the empty space between them. You can visualize this spatial logic directly. The initial distance is bridged by a network of tethers, actively weaving back and forth as positive signals accumulate. As this cluster solidifies, it generates a specific physiological expectation. Both subjects instinctively project this density forward, assuming the engagement will continue all night. The mind interprets this forward speed as an unstoppable force. The interaction feels less like a choice and more like gravity taking over.
Early human chemistry relies on an unchecked assumption that the foundation of the interaction is secure and will continue unbroken. Then, mid-conversation, one person speaks a single sentence. In exactly 3 seconds, a piece of unexpected negative information enters the air. This is a strict, non-negotiable boundary, a deal breaker. The physical reaction is immediate. The posture turns rigid. The silverware hits the plate. The laughter and the chewing stop. A single piece of negative data carries enough weight to override the positive signals and the environment they were built in. Researchers at the ISCO Lab classified this specific phenomenon as social interaction type 3. The ISCO Lab is a research facility that maps and categorizes the mechanical patterns of human behavior. This is clinically referred to as the hard stop. It functions as an impenetrable barrier, halting the interaction at its point of highest momentum. The hard stop severs the interpersonal connection. All those active tethers accumulated over the past hour snap apart at once. This prompts the central inquiry of the research project. When the momentum of attraction hits an absolute barrier, what happens to that lost connection? It leaves behind a vacuum. The possibility of the night continuing simply vanishes into nothingness. Polar preclusion proves that interpersonal connection is a fragile thread. A single crossed boundary can snip it permanently. Look at the table now. The physical space between the two subjects is exactly the same 3 feet of air, but the interpersonal distance is now an unbridgeable chasm. The interaction cannot recover. The human mind refuses to bypass a true deal breaker, blocking any attempt to restart the dialogue.
This animation shows the mechanics of singular preclusion. You can see how the removal of one load-bearing requirement causes a total system failure of the entire relationship web. Society often models attraction as a persistent growing tree. Scientific observation shows a state that requires specific, constant conditions to exist. The anatomy of the hard stop demonstrates that human connection is governed less by the steady accumulation of shared chemistry. It is dependent on the absolute power of the boundaries we refuse to cross.